Welcome to Iconic Leadership, the podcast for female entrepreneurs who know they're here to lead, not just build a business. This show is for women stepping into the Alpha Queen era, where leadership becomes identity, power is embodied, and success is created from the inside out. Here, we explore sovereign leadership, expansion, vision, purpose, business, and the inner work that is required to build an empire that fits the woman you are becoming. Strategy matters, but who you are matters more. I'm Karissa Adkins, and this is Iconic Leadership. Welcome to the new standard of the Alpha Queen power. What up, ladies? Welcome back to another kick-ass episode of Iconic Leadership, the show where we break the rules of outdated success and activate embodied power and really spotlight women who lead from sovereignty and self-trust and, of course, unapologetic truth. So today's conversation is for the woman who knows she is done shrinking, done apologizing, and done outsourcing her power. So I'm just going to dive right into it because today's guest is going to freaking blow your socks off. She is, an incredible human, an amazing mother, a caregiver, a wife, and a phenomenal, successful businesswoman. And so let me just kind of introduce my amazing guest, Sarah Bouse, today. So today's guest is Sarah Bouse. She is a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. She is also the creator of the Ascend method, which we're going to learn more about a little bit later on. And of course, she's a woman who leads from deep self-trust and embodied power. So Sarah helps high-achieving women reclaim, command their health, their hormones, and their energy, especially when traditional systems have dismissed their symptoms and silenced their intuition. But more importantly, you guys, her leadership wasn't built in theory. It was forged through lived experiences. After a life-altering health crisis in her early 20s, being told motherhood might not be possible and repeatedly hearing that this is just the new normal, right, that she was going to have to get used to, Sarah made a defining decision, a moment in time where she said, I will no longer abandon myself. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to get into that story today, but you guys, that is one of the most powerful stories that I ever read in this Alpha Queens Rising book. And so today, I just kind of want to, before I welcome her in, today, Sarah has helped hundreds of women step out of survival mode and into vitality. She has helped them step into their confidence and, of course, their leadership by listening to their bodies instead of apologizing for them. So her work is rooted in the belief that healing isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about honoring what's been trying to speak up. So today's conversation is about leadership moments, embodied habits, and what happens when a woman finally trusts herself enough to rise up. So with that, Sarah, gorgeous, darling queen, welcome to the Iconic Leadership Show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I've been counting down this episode because I've heard so many of your incredible stories. You know, I've heard you speak, I've seen you teach, I've seen you share, and you are a phenomenal woman. So it's an honor to have you on the show, and I cannot wait for our listeners to kind of dive in. So ladies, if you are here with us live or catching this, on one of our amazing podcast platforms that we're on, get your notebooks, pens, and papers out because Sarah's about to just pure inspire you, activate you, and also help you ascend from whatever it is that you're currently going through to where you are. So with that, Sarah, I believe in powerful stories. And I believe that stories are powerful because they remind us that we're not alone in this world. Behind every business, every mission, and every message, there is a lived experience that has led us to where we are today. And that is where I want to kind of first dive in with you. I want to explore that. So, with story in mind, take us back to a moment where everything began to shift for you, or a leadership moment that you had to kind of step into leadership, even though you may not have been or felt ready for it.
So I was like, I'm not going to bring up the book because I was like, I want the women to read the book because that's really how I became who I am. But many times I feel like women think that they're like, okay, I had this one aha moment and oh my gosh, that changed everything. I'm like, it's little things along the way that really make a difference. We can't just have one moment that changes. It does change it. But if we stayed stagnant with just that one moment, I feel like we would stop learning. So I thought about this and I was really like, okay, what made me want to try harder in my leadership, in my business, and things like that? And honestly, everybody talks about COVID, but COVID changed it for me. So I was in a wellness practice. I had this thriving practice, and then darn COVID hit. And I was kind of forced fired. It was just this crazy thing.
Force fired. I
So
love it.
I'm like, we don't need to get into drama. I really just want to get into teaching. So when I had that happen, I had a non-compete be put on me for 2 years. And you're like, what do I do? And guess what I did?
What?
Nothing. I literally complained and whined. So, like, how many women out there are like, well, somebody told me I couldn't do something. I guess I won't. And so
Mm.
we have those moments. But then all of a sudden, it was probably 6 months where I was just whiny. And then I decided to change it. I was like, oh my gosh, I had people reaching out to me that were like, are you still alive? I'm like, yes, I am. I'm here. I just can't market to you. And so I was there all along. And then I realized I was like, I have to improve myself in order to truly serve these women because we had all gone through COVID. We were in the midst of it. We were
Mhm.
in survival mode. We were all these different things. And I was like, Sarah, you need to learn more and you need to specialize in women. And that is when I did. Before I was like more generalized and things like that. But that's when I decided to really ascend to that leadership that I was like, these women need me. And
Mm.
even though I can't market on social media, the women that need me will come to me. And that's
Mm.
when I finally stepped into it.
I love that. Okay, so first off, you guys, if you didn't hear it, she turned shit into gold. Okay, so I like to just call it what it is, right? She took this really crappy moment and she could have definitely allowed it to define her and rock her core and just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna like go focus on my family. And she did that for a little bit, is what it sounds like. But then she was like, okay, like people are gonna find me, and that takes a lot of trust and surrendering. So I'm actually curious. What was going through your mind at that time where you were like, okay, I've got to surrender. I've got to just trust that it'll all work out. I've got to trust that these women are going to come and find me. What was going on through your mind? Any mindset beliefs that you had to kind of like work through? Of
I had to work through self-doubt for sure. I'm a confident person, but it doesn't mean that I don't have something that rocks me every once in a while. And it's
course.
those kinds of things that I had to work through. And then I went back to why I originally became a practitioner. I
Mm,
knew that everybody diminished how I felt, and they really didn't listen. And they told me everything was normal. And I was like, what about those women that are being told that? Who is advocating and standing up for them? And so that's when I was like, Sarah, your self-doubt, that needs to go out the door real fast because it's not about you, it's about all the women and the generations that I've affected because I decided not to sit in the muck anymore.
mm. So self-doubt, that's an interesting topic and one that when I'm attending events and conferences and all kinds of things, right? A lot of women will talk and teach women how to kind of, reframe self-doubt or kind of hit the reset, if you will, because it's easy. It's easy for that little voice inside of our head to tell us that we're not good enough and that we don't know enough and that we, need to, that we're not, what we're doing isn't enough, like all of those things. Do you have any tip for a woman to help her start to kind of loosen up that self-doubt and kind of start to stand in her power?
I would say you need to follow through on the promises you make to yourself.
Mm.
If you say you're going to go to bed, go to bed. If you say you're going to work out, work out. There is no such thing. I tell my clients all the time, motivational fairy, she ain't coming at all.
What?
So that's where it's like all of a sudden you have to make those promises and then you believe in yourself. Because if
Mm.
you have self-doubt, that belief is so diminished and pushed down
Mm.
that now you have to prove to yourself, I can do this. When I had to go through extra schooling, I was like, an 8-hour final I had to take. I was like, I can't do this. I'm like, yeah, and you're going to. And you're going to do the things that you have to do for it. And that's what I would say women need to do. They just follow through on what you say.
Alex Hermosi said it one time. He said, confidence is built by keeping the promises that we make to ourselves, right? And
Yeah.
I do think that you're onto something very, very true here. Because as women, we can say we want to do all of these things, but what that does internally is it rocks our self-belief in ourselves. Like, oh, I kept telling myself I was going to do that every single day, but I don't. And what that happens at that nervous system level is like, I just don't trust myself clearly to follow through with anything. So for anyone listening, like this is, Sarah and I are going to call you forward here. If you are the woman who keeps saying like, one day I'll get to that, or, maybe I'll try that someday when I feel ready. Like, I want you to just say, make one powerful promise to yourself and then stick to it. All you need is one promise, is what I'm hearing, Sarah. Sarah, right? It's like one thing, keep it, and then keep going with it, ladies. Like, don't stop, don't stop. I will say, as I went through a massive health journey myself, and the biggest thing with creating those new habits and those new belief, habits is like physical, emotional, or even, thought reprogramming habits, is to just stick to the dang thing no matter what. So what were some of the leadership lessons that, as you started growing into this beautiful business, like, what were some of the leadership lessons or ahas or takeaways that you experienced on your journey to really becoming Sarah, right? The creator of the Ascend method, helping hundreds of women, kind of hit the reset with their health.
I would say what I learned is that being a regulated woman, I know this sounds weird, but a regulated woman cannot be manipulated. And
Mm,
that's where, when I really regulated myself, I regulated what I was doing, that changed everything. And
mm,
nobody was going to manipulate me anymore.
mhm,
Nobody was going to change how I thought about myself or be like, you should do this instead, you should do that. Like, no, I just decided to do something.
mhm,
And I also learned that, like, healing wasn't about adding one more thing. It was truly about just making decisions and figuring out priorities. I have 6 children, and then I have a business. I help train practitioners. And the thing is that I can't say, let me add one more thing. No, it's about making priorities and being present in that. And that's what I learned through the whole going through the muck, for sure.
I love it. I love it. I think that that's what leadership is, a part of the leadership equation. It's like, what does it take to really be an iconic leader? And it's a woman who keeps her promises to herself, right? If you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't overcommit yourself, right? I heard that in Sarah's, reflections, was like, I actually got more simplified. Like, I didn't work with everyone. I just worked with women, everything from like strategic business wise all the way down to from like slowing down and becoming regulated. I am curious because we throw this word out there a lot, like regulation, like, let's get regulated, ladies. Like, let's, regulate our nervous system. But like, what does that actually mean to like the normal badass entrepreneur who's like regulated? I don't even know what that is, nor do I have time for that. Like, what really is that in the most simplest terms?
The simplest terms is like, I'm not telling you to like go out and you have to light candles and you have to take a bath and that's the only way you're going to go about life. Like, no, that's not real life. I mean, enjoy that, but it's not real life.
Yeah.
But regulated for me is that you knew what your goals were. You knew what you were working towards and what was a priority and what wasn't. You
Mm,
also learned really what was taking your time. Like, the doom scrolling at night is not regulating you, no matter how many great videos you see. That is really dysregulating you. Regulating you is going to be like having a bedtime routine, going
mhm.
to sleep. So that's what I mean by regulated, is all of a sudden you know what
Okay.
your goals are. Nothing is going to distract you from that. And
Mhm.
you are okay with saying no to things that do.
Mm. So, okay, I love that version of regulated. So how does that translate into health? Because like, I am one of those women who falls into like Sarah's ideal client profile, right? Like, multi-entrepreneur, multi-passionate, triple A type, right? Always on the go, thinking I don't even have time to go pee, for goodness sakes, today. Like, I catch myself thinking these things. It's like, I get that I've like forced myself to eat because I have like lunch scheduled in, but like, how does not being regulated actually affect our health and our bodies?
Well, that is great job security for me when people do not have regulated bodies, because they do. They come to me and all of a sudden your body will hit a breaking point.
Mhm.
Your mind only pushes you so far. And then when your body can't keep up with it, that's really where it starts to break down. You'll have gut issues because you literally are eating as you're running to the next thing. Your body can't even register, like, oh my gosh, Carissa's eating right now.
Mm.
No idea. And then the next thing that happens is that after the bloating, then you start to have anxiety. Your gut just is having all these issues. You have hormone issues, brain fog, like all those typical things that high achieving women really struggle with.
Mhm.
It's really just because their body can't keep up anymore. And so
Oh.
that's why we have to regulate in
Yeah.
all regards of like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's figure out what's going on.
Mm.
So that you can, I don't think women should have to quit their jobs. I don't think any of those things. I think you can have it all and still be healthy.
Yeah, as you know, that's one of my core beliefs is we as women can have it all. One more question around this. So I think it's kind of like, and it's almost like a myth, or like I want to just kind of bust this right now because a lot of doctors, right, will paint this pretty little picture if you're 40 and over like me. Because I literally went to the doctor with some of these symptoms, right? I was like, I've never had a problem sleeping. I wake up at 3 a.m. every freaking night. I've never had a problem like losing or keeping and maintaining a low, low body weight, but like here I am, it's like struggle bus. All of these things, right? I'm like, I can't remember anything. I mean, I'm taking so much ginkgo biloba that I'm like, I don't even think this is healthy anymore, right? Like I'm eating blueberries, like all of the holistic things. So we finally hit this breaking point. We go to the doctor, and then they put this pretty little, box on it. It's like, oh, welcome to premenopause. And I'm like, is this premenopause, or do you just not really know or have the guts to tell me that I am a highly passionate woman who needs to slow the F down? Like, what is like a massive myth that just kind of drives you crazy with the health industry these days with when it comes to women?
I feel like you hit it right on the head. You're like, perimenopause, this is just the way it is. You're old and you're a woman. Like, then it's like, and I'm like, thank you. Um, but that is such a myth where it's like many times do perimenopause women need to feed themselves differently? 100%, just because they are getting older and
Sure.
their hormones are very different. But that
Mhm.
does not mean that all of a sudden time to sit on the couch, watch TV, and you're just waiting for the nursing home to start. That's not
Right.
how it works. And so that's a big myth that I hear often.
You hear that? Yeah. It drove me crazy. I mean, it just drove me absolutely nuts. I was like, you are a 22-year-old kid. First of all, my son is older than you, and you're a boy, and you're telling me it's premenopause. I'm like, bro, like what is happening? And I do, and I see, I feel like in my ladies circles, right? In my sisterhood, I hear that quite a bit. Okay. So tell me about this ascend method because like, as a business owner and as someone who coaches, like one of my very first things that I always tell these ladies is you have to have a proven methodology because there are so many people that are out there doing similar work than you. So you really have to come up with your signature method, not just like what you got out of your 12-week coaching program, 12-week course that you can now go sell, right? So you have this beautiful ascend method helping women kind of return to the body, trust the body, honor the body, and ultimately kind of work through some of these massive symptoms that we're experiencing. So tell me about the Ascend method.
Yeah, so the Ascend method, in simple terms, is really about aligning, stabilizing, restoring, and thriving.
Okay.
So we really make it where you're aligning with your goals with how your biology is. So we need to figure out where is it off. So
Mm-hmm.
through functional testing, whether that's blood test or hormone testing or gut testing, there's so many things that we do. And then I ask the question, what is your dream health? If you could snap your fingers tomorrow, what would it look like? And that really lets me know what's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where, with the Ascend method, it always starts with aligning. Then we stabilize it. I'm not just going to read your test and give you this big long list of supplements and things like that, that I'm like, good luck, see you later. Like, no, I'm going to help you along the way. And that's what I feel like there was such a disconnect, is why I needed to create the Ascend method, is because every woman is different. There is no such thing as a cookie cutter. And so that's what I love about my job, is that every person comes to me with a different background. They grew up differently, they're in a different culture, whatever it is, their jobs are different. Some of them are stay-at-home moms, some of them are VPs, like whatever it is, there's such a huge range and they
Mm-hmm.
all do something different. So that's why we stabilize it out. We restore to what you want, and then I teach you how to thrive from it. My
Mm-hmm.
goal is really to not have women come back to me until they need what I call like an oil change check-in. I'm like, all right, let's just see if your engine's running right. Do you have anything new that comes up? But I want you to learn about yourself. And that's what the Ascend method is all about. You're ascending into who you want to be. And then from there, my goal is for you to thrive.
I love that. And I think the one part that sticks out the most is the alignment piece. Because
Mhm.
again, when I go to a doctor's office, I feel like they're just checking a box and they're just seeing me and they're like, here is a prescription. I'm like, didn't you just hear what I said? Like, I don't want prescriptions. Like, I want a holistic approach or whatever. Right. And they're like, Okay, but like here's the prescription. And like they're not really listening to me. And what you said is like you actually listen and you tune into what our wants are, our needs are, and how our current lifestyles are. Because yeah, like the normal remedy is like, well, just quit your job if it's so stressful. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, this is not an option. This is my purpose. This is what God put me on this earth to do. And you're asking me to just quit and walk away because of stress? Like, I couldn't even believe it. So, I absolutely love that you take that approach, that you really listen to your clients and you go above and beyond. I know you do. The results are showing it. I've been following your work for a long, long time. I've seen these women like transform. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so. Let me kind of dive into the next piece because you did I think it was an Instagram video or something that I saw, and you had mentioned something how you never thought that you would ever be an author or write a book or something like that. And here you are, one of our collaborative authors in a best-selling book called Alpha Queens Rising. Tell me a little bit about what this book did for you personally and what you're looking forward to with it professionally.
So what it did for me personally is that I followed through on a promise to myself. Like I practice what I preach. And I have that self-doubt. Again, I'm confident, but we all have something that rocks us. I have never been a great writer, but guess what? I can do it. And was it hard? Yes. And so that really made it where I was like, oh my gosh, I can follow through on promises to myself. And that made such a difference. And now I have people coming to me, they're like, I had no idea. My kids had no idea about this story. They're like, you? And I'm like, yes.
Yes,
So like, I just love it. I love that I'm able to put my story out there. And so many people have said like, oh my gosh, I connect with your story so much. And that's my whole goal. I just want women to see that like, you don't have to accept the norm. Like just be you and be stubborn. I am so stubborn and just be that way and just go forward. And so I hope other people connect with it. And I would love to hear if you do.
100%. Y'all, come on. Look at this gorgeous queen right here. If I had more time, I would, make her read a little insert because, like hearing it from the author, like in her words, in her voice is so incredible. I've listened to Sarah long enough. I can kind of hear her voice and her story. But if you guys have not yet picked up the Alpha Queens Rising book, go on Amazon right now, put it in your cart. I know you probably got Christmas gift cards still waiting to be used. So this is something that I would highly recommend using that for. Buy a copy for yourself, buy a copy for your friend, because I guarantee once you have it, you're not going to want to give this up. It's going to be like a come to Jesus moment every time you're hitting a rock bottom. Like you may come and find a different chapter at every point in time. So the vision of Alpha Queens Rising was obviously not meant to stay in the pages of these books, you guys. It actually was meant to impact millions, right? Whether it's from, like a local level to a global level. So Sarah, what are you most excited about when it comes to the Rise where Purpose Meets Power women's event on March 19th?
I am so excited to just light a fire underneath people. I know in our local area and the people that are coming in, you guys are incredible women. And now it's like, let's light that fire to really expand your growth. It's not just about my growth, it is about yours and who you can impact in your own demographic. So I am so excited for that.
I love it. All right, Sarah, we're going to go into a fire lightning round of fun questions. And before I do, I just want to tell the woman who's listening today, because you're like, Rise, what is this? What is this book? Like, what is all this stuff happening? So on March 19th, I'm hosting an in-person experience called Rise, where purpose meets power and women step fully into the Alpha Queen era. Now, really quickly, guys, this is not a conference. This is not a room full of women who are ready, to swap business cards. This is a room full of women who are ready to rise into their power, into their leadership, into the confidence, into the business, into the lives together, right? So we're going to talk, right? I know speakers who are going to be addressing how to overcome self-doubt, how to create the confidence, the skill set of confidence, how to rise through from the ashes, even, in life's toughest times. So Rise is a full day transformational experience featuring powerful speakers like Sarah, right? They're going to be featuring their real stories. They're going to be connecting with you on a deep level. They're going to be, meet and greet, sign, where you'll get your book signed. So I want to encourage you. We're actually in early bird ticket sales right now. So we only have 21 VIP tickets left. We're doing so good. And when those tickets are gone, guys, they're gone and you'll be stuck in general admission. Nothing's wrong with general admission, but hey, who doesn't love a table upfront seating, a VIP cocktail reception, and of course, a lunch plated for you? I mean, you're a queen. Come on. So if you're thinking about going to this event, definitely grab your ticket today. It's early bird. Early bird goes until February 15th. All right. So, of course, more information about that event, you can find it in the show notes. You can find the Alpha Queens Rising book link to Amazon in the show notes as well. So, all right, one of my favorite parts of the podcast is like a lightning round. You guys, these people our guests do not know what's coming. So it's kind of fun to just kind of like, swing at with a question. So with that, Sarah, what is what is a book that you read in the last 12 months that you really helped you overcome something?
5-second rule.
Oh, good one. Yes. Okay. Mel Robbins, 5-second rule. It's a huge tool, guys. Go out and get that after the Alpha Queens Rising book. All right. Okay. So what is a mantra that you are saying to yourself these days, or an affirmation?
I am right now I'm saying I lead with clarity. It's all the time. I lead with clarity.
I lead with clarity. Love it. Okay. Last one. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
I would love to read minds. I just want to read what my
Oh my
clients are
gosh.
thinking. I just want to know.
I just want to know. Oh my gosh, that opens up. I'm like just watching a TV show. I can't even remember, but like they can read minds, and it's like, I don't know if I'd want that one, but like I would. I totally get it. Like, I mean, just think if we could read our minds of our kids, of our partners, of our clients, of ourselves sometimes. I mean, I'll admit, I'm like, stop. I love that. Okay, so Sarah would love to read minds. And she is encouraging all of you to grab your ticket to Rise, buy your book, get inspired, get activated. This is your life, you guys. You guys get to choose the direction that you're taking it in. And I'm telling you, this event is going to rock your world. So with that, Sarah, thank you for bringing your truth, your leadership, and your heart into this beautiful space. This conversation is such a reminder that real leadership doesn't come from having it all figured out. Oof, good Lord. If you think that that's what, yeah, we are literally moving through messy action as entrepreneurs, and we're figuring shit out as we go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does come from being willing to choose yourself again and again and again, whether that's your dreams, your life, your health, or your nervous system. So definitely choose to take care of yourself. So for everyone listening today, if this episode spoke to you, I want you to hear this very clearly. Okay. Your story matters, your voice matters, and the version of you that is rising right now, it's not by accident, right? So if you want to go deeper, grab the copy of the Alpha Queens Rising book, join us at the Rise 2026 event. And if you're ready to step into iconic leadership and legacy level expansion, you can always book a call with me. And if you're like, holy hell, I need to hit the hardcore body reset, then please reach out to Sarah and work through with her through her Ascend method, because you deserve an amazing, healthy body, mind, and spirit. So with that, I love you guys, and I will see you next week for another badass episode. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Iconic Leadership. If today's conversation activated something within you, make sure you subscribe and share this podcast with women who are ready to rise up too. Leaving a review helps this movement reach more women stepping into their power. This is Iconic Leadership.